you kind of need to be to start a business, like a bit overly optimistic or just like too dumb to worry about the risks of what something's going to be and just being like, yeah, I'll figure it out. Like when I bought my first house that I'm like, I've bought a couple of ones, but like the one that I'm in right now was my first one. I bought it 8 years ago, and you know, the place was all old and crappy. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to renovate this apartment. It's going to be fine. I'll get it done in a couple of months. I'm going to take out all these load bearing walls. And like, this was my first project. And like looking back now, it's knowing what I know now, it was ridiculous to take that on as my first project. And I thought it'd be done in 2 months, and it took 7 and cost 3 times as much as I thought. And, you know,
well, and I mean, that's how it has to go.
We are now, so
that's how it has to go sometimes when you're getting into this business. You have to be optimistic, wildly optimistic. If you don't believe enough in the future, it's just not going to happen. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Onsite. This is episode number 8, and today we have a special guest. His name is Josh. He is with JB Brothers Developments. He is one of the contractors inside of the Elite Builders Society. He has been there almost from the beginning, and I'm super excited to have you on today. His brother, John, who's also in the program, is not here today. He's probably on site doing all the work.
Yep.
While Josh hides out in here. And actually, this was a last minute add-on too. So super cool that Josh took time out of his day to connect with us and talk about some of the things that he's working on. Josh, also a little bit ill today. So if I sound a little bit under the weather, that's because I've got a infection of some sort. I'm self-diagnosed. Use of ChatGPT. That's how I've identified what I've got for an illness. Josh, tell us a little bit about you and your business.
So we're a residential contractor in Thunder Bay, Ontario. We're in our 3rd year business now. Started up with me and my brother a couple of years ago. Started out kind of part-time at it. Now hired on our dad as a lead carpenter, and also our youngest brother as an actual ticketed Red Seal carpenter. So we got the 4 of us now, the in-house team. So real family business. Me and John run more of the office stuff. So I kind of handle sales, admin, helping out with project management, and obviously help out on the tools a bit when needed. John is more projects side of things and running production, running all of our subs, making sure the jobs keep running smoothly. And he's our main estimator for pricing everything out. And then, Will, our youngest brother, just started with us 2 months ago now. So he's kind of running things on site, giving us some more time in the office. And my dad's been with us pretty much from the start, working on site with us. So
full family business.
Yeah.
What is the dynamic like? Like who? So you said our dad's working with us. So who's actually dad? Like who's dad?
What do you mean?
Well, within the business, somebody's dad. You know what I mean? Yeah. Somebody's got to be the dad. And so is your dad still the dad in the business?
Kind of. I mean, he runs stuff on site quite well, but me and John are definitely like the planner guys. So we're the ones who schedule everything out, line up the work, make sure everything's running smoothly, and dealing with all the issues that comes up. Dad's more, he's taught us most of what we know about working on the tools and doing stuff on site. And he's awesome at the, fine finishing work and carpentry stuff. So he handles more of that stuff while we handle all of the business BS that comes along.
The non-fun things. Yeah. Well, dude, that's super cool that you get to work with a full-fledged family business. Literally, just brought on your youngest brother. You and your brother are owners, and I'm sure there's plans for everybody to kind of work together at some point. I know that's how you and John both are as just people in general. You're great people. You're up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, which is a small little place. It's not that small. I'm just kidding. It's a little place up in Ontario. Are you affected? Is the forest fires? Is there anything near you there, or no? Are you getting smoked out a little bit?
Getting smoked out. Yeah. There's the we got that air quality warning thing going on today. I woke up in the middle of the night last night with sleeping with our window open and kind of thought my house was on fire for a moment.
Gross.
Yeah. Like it wasn't
you're awake.
But like when you wake up in the middle of the night and all you can smell is smoke out of nowhere, it's a little concerning when you're half asleep. But I realized it was just outside. So it's pretty smoky here today, but I mean, none of the fires are near us, thankfully. So,
yeah. Okay, cool. Well, hey, that's pretty cool. So Thunder Bay, you're right by a harbor, I believe, correct? You've grown up there your whole life?
Yep, been here, born and raised. Went to school here.
What kept you there?
Family and
Most
friends.
people, family and friends. Okay, cool. So it's a great community.
Pretty close with family, obviously, since we started a business together.
Yeah.
You know, and great group of friends here. Everything else, and like I like Thunder Bay because I find it. I've traveled to lots of different cities in Canada and stuff. It's still relatively affordable to live here compared to all the big cities. Like real estate's still affordable, although increasing quickly. And it's not a huge city, so like it's got what we need, but also there's lots of nature around and stuff. Like you're not far from getting out and doing stuff outside of the city. Pretty standard kind of lifestyle here to own a house that's 15 minutes from the city, but you're on a few acres of land. Like that's how I grew up. My parents have 5 acres of property, and we're a 10-minute drive from the edge of the city. So it's nice that you can do that here and not be driving hours to get away from the city. So yeah, I've always just liked Thunder Bay. Haven't really felt the draw. There's a fair amount of opportunity here, so I haven't really felt the draw to move away with the balance of needing to leave all of our family and friends.
Right. And so being at a harbor, I would suspect that as a kid or, as a teenager, there'd be opportunities for working on the water, essentially, in some way, shape, or form. I don't know what it's like. I've never.
Yeah.
I'm living in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Like we have a pretty busy port here because we have a ton of, not as big anymore. There's a whole bunch of like shut down grain elevators from back in the day when it was the heyday of shipping through Thunder Bay, like, decades ago. But there's still quite a few active grain elevators because tons of the grain from where you guys are out west comes down to here and then gets loaded onto ships here in the port and gets shipped out through the Great Lakes.
But no fishing, not like it's not like a fishing harbor.
There's some fishing, but no, it's not like crazy fishing like the East Coast and stuff. Don't have much fishing boats here. It's more shipping. Like it's a big logistics hub for any shipping stuff that is coming by ship. It can go through the whole St. Lawrence Seaway, through the Great Lakes and everything up to Thunder Bay is the furthest west port.
Cool.
Things unload. So then they hop off here and hop on a train to head out west.
Cool. Okay. All right. Got it. So you never were into that, obviously. That sounds pretty fucking lame, to be honest. Working on a sea container shipyard thing would not really be too exciting. So landed in construction. Yep. You're also a realtor, correct?
Yep. Yes, it's kind of how we started our how we started our construction business. We started out. So I used to work in mining. That's how I kind of got a bit of a construction background. I actually went to school to university for geology.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And started
rock nerd.
Yeah, started working in mining, and didn't end up liking geology that much. I only worked in it for like 2 years in the mines, and then got an opportunity to move into project management. So I was running underground construction projects.
Okay.
Which is where we got our my project management experience. So was working at different mines doing the rotation type work for 7 years out of university, and was just getting sick of it, wanted a way out. Started getting into rental properties, so bought a couple of duplexes in Thunder Bay and started renovating them ourselves. So that's kind of where we started doing renos. I bought my first one, gutted and renovated the whole thing, and then John bought his first one, did the same thing kind of on his own. And obviously we started working together on them a bit, which is where we started getting into the renos. Our dad helping us with them, of course.
Right.
And then during COVID, I was really wanting to get out of mining and was trying to figure out, had kind of learned by then that like it was going to take too long to buy rental properties and somehow replace my income with that because you need a lot of them. And so decided to get my realtor license during COVID as a new career to get out of town work. So got my realtor license, started working as a realtor. And then as I started to get busier with that and get clients, they found out that me and my brother do renos. And we were kind of just like, all right, let's do this. Right. My brother was a project manager for a commercial, like a big commercial industrial contractor in Thunder Bay. And so he already had that kind of construction management experience too. So that's and he wanted to, get out and do his own thing too. So we started this up.
Isn't it crazy? And you're probably, maybe you are consciously aware of this, but isn't it crazy that both of you, went down your own little paths, in your pre-construction phase of life, like our pre-employment phase of life, or entry-level employment phase of life, and somehow, some way, everybody comes back together, right, with a little bit of soup skill, a little bit of knowledge, comes back together, starts a business together. Dad's on board. Now you got your younger brother. And if you wouldn't have done some of the things that you did, you probably wouldn't be in this position right now. Which is the part that a lot of people take for granted. And I mean, I'm sure there's a dynamic periodically that's just like, fuck, why are we all working together? But there's also probably a part where it's like, it's this like thankful, like huge thankfulness, that you guys have the ability to come together. And so, I mean, not trying to get super spiritual or anything with you right now, but at the end of the day, it's like, it is very important to just always be mindful that, everybody came down this path in some way, shape, or form, landed in this one spot today, right? And your family gets to work together, which is an incredible experience. It doesn't matter on site what happens. It doesn't matter if you have a shitty client or you lose some fucking money or things don't go the right way. That will pass. Tomorrow will be a new day. And you'll have the ability to understand that, you guys got to work together. So I think that's awesome. I think that's a dying thing right now. A lot of family businesses aren't really like family businesses anymore. It's just not a thing. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of division. Especially in Canada, it's a fucking disaster. You're either conservative or liberal. And I mean, just going to put it out there. If you're liberal, probably concerning. Just obviously the two of us are heavy conservative, but at the end of the day, it's just like there's all these dynamics around us all the time, and the cool part is you guys came together. You're kicking ass, and I love seeing all the projects. I mean, you're not as active as you need to be. This is the dad coach voice coming out. You're not as active as you need to be on social. You guys are busy, but you're trying. Progress. It's a work in progress. No, but it's great, man. You guys are doing awesome. So huge family dynamic. Everybody's together. Everybody's happy. Everybody's having a great time. I'm sure that Christmas and all those special gatherings are super, super special because, the work that you guys do together contribute to the meals that are put in front of you. The houses that you're living in, everybody's eating and living, and all the pressure ultimately is on you and your brother right now. And so that must weigh heavy some days for sure. Because that's the other dynamic where it's like, oh, okay, we want to, all come together. And then it's like, well, fuck, we're still running a business. And like success is on the other side of the work that we need to do. And so you and John essentially currently are responsible, even though your dad and your brother for sure will step in when they need to, but it's just like their ass isn't necessarily the same on the line. And so it's cool that you guys are taking that risk together. I commend you for that. So enough drama. Nobody wants to fucking hear about all this kind of shit, but I mean, this is part of it. So you've got a bunch of work going on. You've got some cool projects coming up. Let's talk about what you've got going on right now that excites you for work.
Yep. Yeah, we got some pretty cool projects on the go right now. We've got a in production right now. We've got a pretty probably our highest end kitchen yet that we're doing. Just doing the kitchen, but we've also renovated the rest of this client's house. So in January, February, we did a whole home reno, which at the time was our biggest reno yet, like about $190,000 for that reno. We did 2 bathrooms, whole upstairs of the house, bed, it's a 1.5 story. So basically redid all the living space and the 2 bathrooms and the upstairs bedrooms all at once in January, February, and they wanted to do their kitchen too. So they came back to us. They were happy with how the first project went. So now we're doing the kitchen. So yeah, we just started weeks ago.
Started one job within their house, wowed them. That's typically how it goes. Like you get in there, do a bathroom, you do a good job, you elevate to the kitchen. And even when contractors are doing a discovery walkthrough and they see that the bathroom's been renovated by somebody else and it could be fresh, I always say that's an opportunity or a red flag. You know, you're either going to learn one or the other. So I would hone in on that super quick, but I'm glad nobody else got the opportunity to come into this place, and you guys killed it on the first phase. Yeah. And now you're killing it on the second phase. So got a big reno there. That's awesome. Yeah. Do you guys do commercial stuff too?
We're currently renovating. We just finished up a boardroom reno this week for someone, just a small, like, update an office and build a boardroom in the space. Cool. So yeah, we just started kind of diving into some light commercial. We're also have a contract renovating hotel rooms right now for one of the bigger hotels in town. So we're doing like a couple rooms at a time, basically just cycling through a bunch of their rooms, which has been good. And they're looking to potentially renovate hallways and lobby and everything else. So they're just starting to work with us on that. So
cool. They probably have a ballroom and stuff too to take care of as well.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it's on the radar right now, but just the hallways are in a bit rough shape, so there could be a big round of just flooring and wallpaper and lobby improvements and stuff like that coming our way.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, so you got all these jobs going on. You're mostly project management, right? Your brother is kind of a site guy. What gets you jacked up every morning to like go to work? Because you have to love what you're doing. I mean, working with your family is important, right? And maybe that's part of it. But like for me as a coach, I get this profound fulfillment of like just helping fucking people. And it gets me super jacked. I'm sick as hell. I've been sick as hell for like 3 or 4 days. I still get up every day and jump on my calls with everyone. And I run through all that kind of stuff because it excites me and it fulfills me. And that's why I do it. And, you know, for you, what is it that actually triggers you to get up and keep fighting, keep battling for your family?
I mean, I like transforming spaces. Like, I really like having a super cool finished product that we get to see and deliver to people. I kind of laugh about it, like how a big difference between the project management I do now and when I worked at the mine. Like, when I used to run projects at the mine, it was always, no matter what I could do about it, so many things were out of my control that just the projects were constantly over budget or like over late on schedule. And the end result was always just like something I wasn't interested in. Like, you know, okay, we spent a few $1 million building a rock chute that we dump rocks down, as opposed to like spending a ton of money renovating this house. And now there's like this really cool, beautiful space that someone gets to live in. It's much more like satisfying to me to be able to design and then execute a project like actually on time and on budget, because we have more control over it, and be able to deliver like a really cool space. I like renovating houses or I mean, we want to get into building them and everything too, build buildings, but I just I like the high end finishing work that we do as opposed to just like building more industrial stuff.
That probably excites your dad too. He probably likes a little bit more of a challenge too. So you're probably out there fighting to give him more of what makes him happy. Well, and
he's always like, he's been like, he's not actually a ticketed carpenter, but he's done renos and work like this for a big portion of his life. And he's always been into just like building. Like, my parents built their house together, a lot of it themselves. My dad like fully custom built their whole kitchen set of cabinets in his shop.
Oh yeah, cool.
Younger, and so like he just likes doing fine finishing like that. So yeah, he's great for, you know, going through house, doing really good job on trim, doors, installing kitchen cabinets, stuff like that. So yeah,
nice. No, that's awesome. So okay, got a good picture of where you're at, where you're going, and you're talking about you know, getting into building and doing some bigger things. So always growing and developing. What's the population in Thunder Bay?
I don't know, 125,000-ish.
Okay, 125. So it's not a huge community, but it's big enough to be sustainable. Now you guys use a lot of different technology. We're not sponsored by any of these people, so I mean, feel free to like share. But you've got a really cool strategy, and you don't have to give away all your secrets so that your competitors, when they listen back to this podcast, wonder, okay, that's how they're doing everything. But using technology really is what differentiates people today. AI is everywhere, and everyone's like, there's no robots coming into construction. I disagree. I think they are going to come into construction at some point, because they don't bitch, they don't complain, and they just show up and they have to do the work because they're paid and they're bought to do so. Not that we're there right now, but what do you think sets you apart from kind of some of your other competitors, without getting too deep into the nitty gritty? I know you're using JobTread. I think you're using Company Cam and a few other products, but like what can you tell us about your process that I think makes you unique for your clients anyway?
Yeah, I would say the main thing is like me and my brother bringing professional project management to the residential renovation and or building space in Thunder Bay. Part of the reason we started our contracting business is because doing our own renos on our rental properties in the past, we started to hire out some of it to get the jobs done quicker and hired contractors. And we were shocked at how unreliable they were. Either they were very expensive, but, and did good quality work, but like no scheduling, no coordination, poor communication, all that kind of stuff. Or they just didn't show up when they said they were going to and did crappy work and were still expensive. Right. And so we kind of figured there was a hole in the market for it to be done better. I think most, especially in the residential space and like renovations and stuff, I think most of the companies are started by carpenters, like guys who are good at working on the tools, and so they decide to go out on their own and start a company. And that doesn't mean that they're necessarily great at you can be awesome at building a new bathroom or a kitchen. It doesn't mean you're going to be able to schedule that out well, make a schedule, stick to it, be good at collecting and managing all of the details that are involved in a renovation project or any kind of project. So that's what me and John brought, was years of project management experience at bigger companies running much bigger projects, and applied those systems and experience to a residential company. So when you work with us, you get a very detailed quote of exactly what your job's going to cost. You get a detailed schedule of how long the job's going to take and what's going to be happening on every day of the project before we start. So you know what's going to be happening, and we stick to it. Like every one of our jobs in the last year have run, basically we aim to have guys working in the job site from every day start to finish, and minimize the amount of time that we are in your job site. We don't come rip it apart and then go off to another job and you don't see us for a week and your kitchen's left torn apart. Every job we ran in the last year was done within a week of the original scheduled start date.
Awesome.
On a renovation project. So obviously we run into surprises. Obviously there's a bit of flex on a construction project, but yeah, like we run a pretty tight ship when it comes to scheduling. So
no, and the crazy, one of the things that you said there too was just answering the phone and showing up, right? Like a lot of contractors do struggle. Even some of the guys that we work with recognize that their biggest problem is that they are born to be builders on site, and they're not necessarily born to be a business owner and or a project manager. And so I think that, like we talked about earlier, how you both kind of went down your own path and came together and, built this kind of superpower together. I think that that's probably one of the differentiators for sure that you both have versus everybody else. And, I think you're both adapting using technology, and you're both advancing very, very quickly through your growth as well. Even just in our conversations when we're, navigating, what the next stage of this business is, it's clear that like I can throw a lot of shit at both of you and you can digest it and move forward. And whereas some people need a little bit, a little slower approach, and you guys can handle fast movement. So I love that about you. And I think that that's probably heavily contributing to your success right now for you and your family. So you've been in the industry for a while. Your dad's, built a lot of stuff around your house. I remember the first time I grabbed a skill saw. My uncle basically just said, here you go, cut a piece of wood. And that was a stupid idea. Loved the guy to death though, but it was a bad idea. I almost cut my fucking hand off. So is there any moments in construction that like stand out as like, oh shit, or like memorable moments? Because you kind of went down a couple different paths there. Now you've landed at this point. I'm sure you're not on site all the time. I'm sure you're putting in the work where you need to, but I'm sure you're not on site all the time. But when you're younger, you're probably helping out your dad, a little bit in the garage doing things. And so is there any memorable moments that stuck where you're just like, I like to build things, I like to watch things transform as a younger kid that you remember?
I think my interest in it all probably started with my parents building their house. So like I was, I think 6 years old when my parents first started building their house. They bought a lot, did all the site work, like built it from the ground up. So I was around for all of that, just watching the house get built. And they built it over like many years, like they hired out, the framing and some of the other big stuff. But then my dad and family did a ton of all the interior finishing. So we didn't move into it for like a couple of years. And then even once we moved into it, I think 20 years later, he's still got some missing trim in places. As you know how that goes when you're a builder building your own house. So I think just being around that, growing up around him doing that, got us pretty let in construction from a young age. It was pretty cool seeing our family home get put together and being involved in all that. And my dad's had a big garage set up as a wood shop out there from when we were young kids too. So he's always just been building stuff. So I'd say that's kind of likely when we started. And then, we're just like, as I think you kind of need to be to start a business, like a bit overly optimistic or just like too dumb to worry about the risks of what something's going to be, and just being like, yeah, I'll figure it out. Like when I bought my first house that I'm like, I've bought a couple other ones, but like the one that I'm in right now was my first one. I bought it 8 years ago, and the place was all old and crappy. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to renovate this apartment. It's going to be fine. I'm get it done in a couple months. I'm going to take out all these load bearing walls. And like, this was my first project. And like looking back now, it's knowing what I know now, it was ridiculous to take that on as my first project. And I thought it'd be done in 2 months, and it took 7 and cost 3 times as much as I thought. And, but
that's how it has to go.
We are now, so
that's how it has to go. Sometimes when you're getting into this business, you have to be optimistic, wildly optimistic. Yeah. Because if you don't believe enough into the future, it's just not going to happen. And you and your brother are doing great. I love working with you guys, and it's always a pleasure. If anybody's looking to do a renovation in Thunder Bay, if you're listening to this and you're in Thunder Bay, you've potentially come across Josh and John's company. If somebody wants to connect with you and chat just business, or chat about a potential project, how can they find you?
Right on our website, or Instagram. You can find us there. We've got a link in our Instagram bio right to our book a consult call page. Or if you go to our website, it's right on the front page. You can put a link to, right there, jbbrothers.ca. There's a link right there to book a consult call. You put in a couple details so that I've got your info in our system, and then it'll give you it'll put you to a link right there to book a 15-minute consult call with me. For free right on our webpage. So
awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate our conversation today, Josh. It's been great to, obviously we've been working together for 7 or 8 months now, a while now. And I love, when is our next call booked?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Yeah. So we've got a call. So we've been working together for a while, but I loved that we were able to go a little bit deeper today, just on, you and your family, because most of our calls are all business and strategy. And so, I love that this wasn't like that. And this was more about you, which was awesome. It was great to, learn a little bit more about you. So if anybody is in Thunder Bay looking to renovate or build potentially, connect with Josh and John. They'll be a great choice for you. Appreciate your time today. Until next time, we are finishing up. This is episode 8. Josh, our first episode, when you listen back to these, it's not good. Second one, a little bit better.
Hey man, first draft of everything is shit.
Yeah, you say that. I'm still working on my book here, and my first draft was shit. My second draft was shit. My third draft was shit. I'm into like my 10th draft right now, and it's getting pretty good. So I think that we're on the right path. But appreciate your time today.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Till next time.
Yeah.